Good morning. Our next concept is a transistor. Definition of a transistor is it is a semiconductor device used to amplify or switching operation of electrical or electronic signals. Generally, transistor consists of a three terminals. It will have at least three terminals, whereas a PN junction diode will have only two terminals. Now, what is the need for a transistor? I think in the previous unit we discussed a PN junction diode. PN junction diode for voltages greater than 0.7, it will conduct electricity, allow the electricity to flow, which is in forward bias. For voltages less than 0.7, it will not conduct an electricity, which is a reverse bias operation. So what's the problem with the PN junction diode is in forward bias or in reverse bias we don't have any control. It simply depends upon the electrical parameter, which is nothing but a voltage. In a forward bias, if we want the PN junction diode not to conduct electricity, we cannot make that diode do that. But whereas in a transistor, we can make the transistor not to conduct electricity in forward bias or in operating region. This is one of the application of a transistor, which means in simple words we can say that a transistor can behave as a controllable switch, whereas a diode will behave as a non-controllable switch. This controllable switching operation is only one of the application of a transistor, and the major application of a transistor is amplifying action. What transistor can do is, generally transistor will have a three terminals. This is not the symbol of a transistor, nowhere related to the transistor. Generally transistor consists of a three terminals: emitter, base, collector. On one of the terminals we are going to provide input, other terminal we are going to take the output. So the input voltage is a lesser value, we can scale that one to a greater value. We are going to give the input signal which is need to be amplified. At the output we can get an amplified output, or the magnitude of the input signal is increased and given as a output. This is a major application of a transistor. So transistors are basically classified into two types. First one is a BJT and the next one is a FET. BJT stands for bipolar junction transistor. In the first half we are going to discuss about the BJT, and the next half we are going to discuss about the FET. BJT. BJT is a three terminal semiconductor device, consists of a two PN junctions. Whereas a PN junction diode consists only one PN junction, here we have a two PN junction. Similar to that of a transistor, BJTs also can be used as an amplifiers and as a controllable switch in electronic applications. Our next concept is construction and physical structure of a BJT. We are going to take intrinsic semiconducting material. We are going to divide this intrinsic semiconductor material into three uneven sections. The first section, which is a medium in size, is called as an emitter. The section which is smaller in size is called as a base, and the section which is larger in size is called as a collector. BJTs are classified into NPN and PNP type transistor. This is a structure for an NPN type of transistor, and this is a structure for the PNP type transistor. In NPN, the emitter has a medium size, base will have a smaller size, and collector will have a larger size. Next, moving on to the doping in NPN type of transistor. This section is doped with N-type impurities, this section is with the P-type, and this section with the N-type impurities. And here the doping concentration in emitter is heavily doped, so large number of electrons are present since it is an N-type semiconductor. For a P-type semiconductor, in the base region the doping concentration is very less, so there are only few holes present, and in collector region the collector region is moderately doped, so there are moderate number of electrons present in the collector region. Similarly, with the PNP type transistor, in the emitter region there are more number of holes. In a base region there are very few electrons, and in the collector region there are moderate number of poles. The symbol for an NPN type of transistor is in this way, and the symbol for PNP type of transistor is this one. For NPN, the arrow will be towards the emitter, and for PNP, the arrow will be away from the emitter. So if you observe in the PNP or NPN type transistor, there are two junctions, junction 1 and junction 2. Junction 1 and junction 2. Junction 1 is between emitter base, so this junction is called as emitter base junction, or simply J1, and the J2 is a collector base junction. So in conclusion, the BJT has three regions, two junctions, and the emitter size is more, base size is less, collector size is moderate. Whereas coming to the doping concentration, emitter is heavily doped, base is lightly doped, and collector is moderately doped. So we successfully constructed a transistor, NPN and PNP transistor, with a base, emitter, collector. So we have a junctions, junction J1, junction J2. For analysis, we are going to take an NPN transistor. You can also take PNP type of a transistor. So as there are two junctions, junction 1 and junction 2. Junction 1 can be biased in either forward bias or is in reverse bias. Similarly, junction 2 can be biased in either forward bias or as in reverse bias. So considering these two junctions, BJT has four regions of operations. As there are four possible combinations, there are four regions of operations. The first one is junction J1 is forward bias, J2 is reverse bias. Both the junctions J1 and J2 are in forward bias. Both the junctions J1 J2 are in reverse bias, and the junction J1 is reverse bias and J2 is in reverse bias. Moving on to the first one, which is forward bias and reverse bias. Junction J1 is in forward bias. From the table, junction J1 is in forward bias, which means the P side should be connected to the higher voltage value and the N side should be connected to the lower voltage value. This is a plus terminal of a battery, this is a negative terminal of battery. So we successfully made the junction J1 is in forward bias. Similarly for the junction J2, junction J2 is in reverse bias, N side should be connected to the positive plate and P side should be connected to the negative plate. So if you connect in this particular way, BJT will be in active region. So we can use this BJT as an amplifier if it is in active region. Similarly, if you follow this type of configuration, it will be said to be in saturation region, which is equivalent of on switch. If this is the condition, then it will be in cutoff region, which is equivalent of off state. So if you use both the combinations, then it is nothing but a operation of a switch. Switch can be either on or off. And in the final case, this is very rarely used. This region is called as inverted region or inverse active region, which is very rarely used. Moving on to the next concept, working principle of a bipolar junction transistor. So to analyze the working principle of a bipolar junction transistor, we are going to consider an NPN transistor. You can also analyze with a PNP transistor, and the analysis results will be the same. In this case, I am going to take NPN transistor. So we have multiple modes for a transistor. I am going to operate our transistor, which is NPN transistor, in active mode and see how the transistor behaves in an active. So to run in an active mode, we need to connect the J1 junction, which is the emitter base junction, in forward bias, and J2 junction, which is a collector base junction, in reverse bias. So since it is an NPN transistor, this is N region, P region, N region, emitter, base, collector, junction J1. As we discussed, junction J1 should be in forward bias. In order to bias junction J1 in forward bias, the N side should be connected to the negative side and a P side should be connected to the positive plate of the battery. Similarly for the junction J2, in order to bias junction J2 in reverse bias condition, we need to connect the P side to the opposite terminal, which is a negative, and the N side of the collector to a positive terminal of a battery. We made the connection such that the transistor is in active region for an NPN transistor. So in the construction we discussed, as emitter is a heavily doped, there are large number of charge carriers in this region, and base is a lightly doped, there are only few number of holes in this region, and collector is a moderately doped, there are moderate number of charge carriers which are electrons in this region. So coming to the analysis section, from left to right we are going to analyze the circuit. Here we have a voltage VEB, the applied voltage, positive voltage across the junction J1. As junction J1 is in forward bias, charge carriers will move from N region to P region and P region to N region. Looking onto the electrons, let's suppose n number of electrons cross the junction J1. As emitter is heavily doped, N will be a large number, n number of electrons cross the junction J1 and enter into the base region. So if you observe in the base region, there are only few holes. So the entered electrons will have less number of holes to pair. So only a 2 to 5% of electrons will pair with the holes. Remaining large number of electrons will remain unpaired. These unpaired electrons will move further due to the large amount of electric field, move further and enter into the collector region. And through the collector region it will go to the positive plate of the battery. So let's suppose the number of electrons entered into the collector region be alpha n. Let n be the number of electrons cross the J1 junction and alpha n be the number of electrons cross the J2 junction. Remaining electrons, which are n minus alpha n, merged with the holes in the base region. We can also rewrite this one as 1 minus alpha into n. So this is with the voltage VEB. Moving on to the voltage VCB. As VCB is a reverse bias voltage across a junction J2, in reverse bias condition, the current is only due to the minority charge carriers we studied in the PN junction diode. It is also applicable for the BJT. So in a reverse bias, a minority current will be present, which is IC0. It is also called as a saturation current. This current is due to the minority charge carriers. So in conclusion, the collector current constitutes of the current due to these charge carriers and the current due to ICO. It is a combination of two terms. Whereas emitter current, we have only one emitter current, which is due to these charge carriers. Whereas base current is due to these charge carriers. We are going to derive expressions for currents. Hence, the collector current will be equal to alpha times emitter current and a saturation current. Coming to the directions of current, as electrons are flowing in this direction, the conventional current will be opposite to that of a flow of electron. So emitter current will be out of the terminal. So that is the reason why the indication of emitter current will be in this way. Whereas if you see with the base current in the base region, as electrons are moving in this way, the conventional current will be reversed to that of the flow of electron. So base current will be into the base terminal, whereas a collector terminal it will be in this way. If you apply KCL at the transistor, The current entering the transistor are base current and collector current. The current leaving the transistor are emitter current. KCL is sum of entering currents equal to sum of leaving currents. We have only one leaving current, which is emitter current, and entering currents are IB and IC. These are the expressions for currents in BJT under active region.